So on Saturday, we have the new craved animals starting. So I definitely want to answer any questions you guys have about that. And then, of course, all this new update stuff. So, oh, our next graduation is already planned, guys. Let me think. I want to say it was August 19th. Let me look because I don't want to lie to you guys. So if you are taking your classes, be sure that you're getting all those classes that you need. Also, 7th, thank you. I just pull numbers out of the sky. So, and if you're just missing a couple classes, we can help you out with that if you let me know. So, that's going to be cool. Here we go. August 7th at 5 p.m. SLT. That is the graduation date. Is anybody here going to be graduating? Gray, you're going to be graduating. Who else do I see on the list? Hey, Jed. I didn't see you sneak in. All right, so that's just around the corner, guys. If you don't know about the ARU, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. We have some amazing volunteer teachers that teach the classes just right over there in the next building. Also, Saturdays at 11. And you don't have to sign up. You don't have to do anything. All you got to do is show up and turn in your note card, right? So I will open up the floor so we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Like I said, I know there's a lot of questions that a lot of you may have, and I want to make sure everybody gets answered. So you can ask in voice, you can type it out, we can do whatever you want to do. So I'm going to just turn the floor over to you guys. That's a great question, Emmy. So the Extends pill is what she's talking about. Guys, it was a new consumable that was released with this horse update. Hey, Jed. All right, so let's talk about it for just a minute. You can use the Extends on any retired horse. Doesn't matter if it is 127 days old or if it is 2,700 days old. The requirements are that it is retired and that it is not a pet. Now, when you give your horse the Extends pill, a couple things, guys. I'm gonna clue you in because I know some people who already made this mistake. You want to make sure that your horse doesn't say eaten pet food. Because if it does say eaten pet food, guys, it's going to take 7 days for it to get off eaten pet food, and then your breeding time is gone, right? Because the extends the breeding life of any horse that is retired for 7 days. All right. Now, a horse can only have the Extends pill Any horse can have an Extends pill only once in its lifetime. So if I have a horse that I use the Extends pill on and I sell it to Miss Anna cannot give it the Extends pill. But you will notice the horses that have had the Extends pill, it's going to tell you in their stats whether they have or have not had it. All right, so did that clear it up for you, Emmy? No problem, no problem. All right, next question. Let's see what we got. What brought Amaretto to the decision to not use the green sick horse's texture after all those years anymore? You mean blush when it's been used? I think it says something like extends used. Betty, that was something that we didn't think. I guess we got a lot of suggestions that you guys didn't like the green horses. That doesn't mean that they're not going to come back with the next update or something similar won't happen. Um, yeah. So I think it was just suggestions from the community, Benny. You know, we tried to pack a lot of punch in this update because you guys waited a long time to get it. So you notice many more people are selling their sick retired LEs now. Um, and I'll just address that. Uh, it may change in the future, but I don't know that the horses will be sick. There may be something else that happens to a sick horse. So, um, guys, just got to be proactive. Check a horse's stats before you buy it. I know as a market manager, we don't allow sick horses to be set for sale unless they're eating their way out of sickness. Um, and that red hover text is a dead giveaway. Alrighty, so could I speak about the Haven horses acquired before the 6.01 update, including the new guiding light horse that was released before? Okay, um, there was, if you bought a guiding light Haven horse, you got a new starter. It doesn't matter if it was 6.0 and you updated it to 6.01. It doesn't matter if you bought it at 6.01. Every new guiding light horse is like a brand new starter. So you have the possibilities of getting those miniatures, those blankets, that new saddle, all that great stuff. Okay, let's just start there. Second of all, Haven horses that were acquired before the update. Like, if you bought a Darkness horse 4 months ago and you got it in a bundle, you cannot birth that horse and then update it and expect it to have the traits in it that the new ones have. Your Haven horse will only have the traits in it that were out from starters at the time that you bought it. So, like I said, if you bought your Darkness horse and it was 5.5, you're not going to see any of those 6.01 or 6.0 traits come out from that particular horse because they could only give you the traits that the 5.5s had in them. Does that make sense, Nora? Did I answer that completely? So yeah, if you have a new guiding light horse, you have a brand new starter. Even if you bought it at 6.0 and updated it to 6.01. Yes, any Haven horse you buy today, no. Guiding light horses were never 5.5. Ever, ever, ever. If you get a Memorial Haven horse today, it will be the same as getting a new starter from the starter packs. It'll have the possibility of new things. Absolutely. Guys, when we update our starter packs, we update everything in the Haven vendor, we update the gotchas, and so those things, all three of those things are basically new starters. Yep. So yeah, any guiding light horse could be holding new traits in it. I'm glad to hear that, Benny. There's been a lot of confusion as what passes from the Mother's Day LE. The difference between a 6.01 and an LE specific trait. Will there ever be a time that will be a difference to help separate those? Okay, starters and LEs do work differently. What do I mean by that? If I go out and buy a starter pack and I get 4 bundles from my starter pack and not one of those bundles is showing me a new trait, you know, if it was an LE, you would go, oh, I didn't get the headpiece, so these bundles are never going to give the headpiece. And that would be exactly right, thinking in terms of an LE. But in terms of a starter, okay, because hidden traits, the way they could pass in a starter, you don't have to see it. It doesn't have to show it to throw it. What do I mean? Okay, so I got 2 starters, I bred them together, and I got 3 bundles. In all 3 of these bundles, none of them gave me the brand new saddle. But I birthed those 3 bundles, and I breed those bundles together, and I get a new saddle. So, DOSs of starters can hide new traits in them. Now, yeah, don't be afraid of DOSs. And guys, this is the same way that starters have worked for 9 years now, right? We didn't change it a bit at all. So the Mother's Day LE, it's a little more complicated because it came out so close to the update. So a Mother's Day LE, its DOSs could be hiding new traits from the 6.0 update, right? So if you breed a Mother's Day horse, you could get a dressage saddle. You breed that Mother's Day horse, you could get a bundle that doesn't show the dressage saddle, birth and breed that horse and get it. So there you go. Benny says it simple. DOSs can pass new traits. LEs, DOSs cannot pass the headpiece. They can pass the other starter traits just like the starters, but they will not pass the headpiece. All right? Did I clear that up or did I just muddy the water? Well, if you'll think back to previous updates, like I remember people would be selling the DOSs of the starters for like, 1K, 700 lindens, and you would see DOSs all over the place. Yeah. It's always worked the same, nothing new.
In a nutshell, LEs, they have both the starter traits, and most of the times we have a hidden LE-specific trait. While the LE-specific trait can never pass as a hidden from an LE directly, the starter traits, like new breeds, stuff can.
See, there you go. Alright, so let me look back up. Nora, no. Other thing, didn't you mention that bundles in 5.0? Okay. Horses must be 6.01 to breed currently. If you see anybody who gets an expired breeding on their bundle, that's because the horses are not updated. We gave everybody 3 weeks. We put it on Facebook, Twitter, our website. We sent notices. We've talked about it in the group. Auctioneers are saying it at the auction. So at this point, everybody should pretty well know that there was a 6.01 update, right? So horses do need to be updated. However, bundles, you do not have to update at all, Nora. Because you can birth any version of bundle at any time and update that particular horse so it will breed. All right? So for me, I'm not going to take time out of my day to update all the bundles that I have in my inventory to 6.01. However, if that's something you want to do, you certainly can. There is a bundle updater, and but that's just up to you. Those bundles will be good to birth anytime. I don't care if it's a 5.5, I don't care if it's a 2.4 or 2.0, anything you can, if you got a bundle of it, you can birth it and update it. Yeah, I have 1.3 still. All right, so let me. Did that clear that up for you, Nora?
If the bundle is good, you can always birth it. It's just to actually breed those horses once they turn of age, they must be at the current version.
Alright, Tasty. Hey Tasty, I didn't even see you sneak in. You had a good look at the Mother's Day LEs and wonder why don't they? Or will they? Mini leg ribbons. I like those on the dogs. I have not seen any butt tail pieces. I don't know how you guys would feel about a butt piece. That could go south pretty easily. Uh, just saying. All right. Butt is south. Who asked if the Rabicano was a starter? The Rabicano is a starter. Yeah, the Rabicano is a starter. All rabbis are starters, yes. Hey, Bad Rad. And let me welcome TM, guys. He slipped in a little bit late, but he came to help me answer all your technical questions. So I have a couple questions for you, if you guys don't have questions. And these are just for my information only. What was your favorite new trait that came out in the 6.01 update? Okay, so saddles, blankets, and horns. All right. You got this, deer horns. And what was your least favorite? The wings. All right. And why don't you guys like the wings? Well, you guys know that Amaretto is nowhere near done, so maybe that's foreseeing something in the future. Yeah, I definitely think that the wing is a lot more fantasy looking than the other wings. You never know.
Like Ava said, you never know. But he said, you can pop a trade on you anytime.
Yeah. All right, so who else had questions or problems or anything that we needed to talk about? Duplicated food. What about duplicated food, Emmy? Have you gotten duplicated food? Did you get the dates, Earl? Okay, so explain to us, Emmy, what happened with your food. And if you want to voice, that's fine.
I think it has something to do with the rollbacks. Every single time Second Life rollbacks, all of my food gets returned, and then they duplicate.
Okay, who was that?
Emmy?
Oh, Emmy. All right. Yeah, I was going to say, you guys know, I'm honest with you guys. I don't know what Second Life and Linden Labs is doing with these rollbacks, but I know it's causing issues for scripted items. And they have been, like Anaconda just said, rough restarts. I know that people, and like I said, I'm not gonna downplay or lie to you guys. I know people are having issues with their horses breeding, being at 100%, and their food duplicating. I don't know, and I don't think TM knows. Maybe he knows more than me, that's for sure. But what exactly Linden Labs is doing? But it seems to me like these restarts are what were we calling it the other day, TM? It's like stalling out the scripts on them.
The past 2 months have been especially turbulent for anything else.
So yeah,
Fresh
what?
scripts just created, just saved. A restart happens, forced by Linden Labs, and it just stops. It doesn't stop, crash. It just pauses.
So
Linden's
yeah.
came by and pushed the pause button on the thing.
So here's my
Really?
suggestion, guys. Oh, I'm sorry, TM. You were cutting out. I thought you were done.
We're unsure exactly what's causing it, but we are aware of the issue, and we are looking into it.
Right. So guys, right now, if you're having issues like that, and I've had people tell me, it wasn't just my horses, it got my auto feeder, and it broke this, and it broke that. If you're having issues like that, the first thing I want you to do is re-res all your horses, or get the sim restarted to see if that will alleviate the issue. Now, I mean, it's weird that your stuff, it's returned to you, and then it's duplicated. So do you have to res out the one that's returned to you and that duplicates the one that you have in world? Is that what's happening? Or you just come back and it's just duplicated and you have a copy in your inventory? You just come back and it's duplicated. All right, so here's what I'm going to tell you. Well, in my mind, TM, correct me if I'm wrong. It's important to do those restarts because that will give you, it's like a saving point, right, TM, if they do a rollback?
Yes.
So,
In a nutshell, Second Life, they store snapshots of every region every 4 hours. They don't tell us exactly when these snapshots are taken, but they're usually force a new one to happen on a restart. Just be careful if the sim is really, really, really acting up. I want to be careful because that forced restart could also accidentally roll it.
yeah.
And I can answer that one, Nora. No. Due to the nature of Second Life's prim system, riding by right-click and turning them into vehicles makes the horses jut to 30 or 40 prims permanently. Everyone does itself. That's why we have you wear them. It keeps them a nice steady 14 prims. We've experimented with it, but it, for whatever reason, turning them into a vehicle makes their land impact go up to 34 and they never come back down.
Yeah, to right click and walk or ride, it would be just like a vehicle, Anna, for all scripting purposes. And of course, it gets more complicated when you talk about pathfinding and things you can do and stuff like that. Unless something changes, Nora. Yeah, I don't foresee that in the immediate future. Who else has some questions? How about Animesh? Well, guys, I'm just going to be really, really honest with you right now. TM, how many hundreds of thousands of textures do we have for horses, do you think?
At the last count, there was 100,000 independent textures for the horses alone. Give or take several thousand.
Okay, so to make Animesh, we would have to redo every one of those textures.
Yeah. I can say this explicitly. None of our current animals will ever be converted to Animesh due to texture constraints and the fact that the prim counts for the animals will double, if not triple, for the base models.
Right. So it's not like we wouldn't want to go to Animesh. We would love to, even if we took the time to remake the 100,000s of textures. uploading them, putting them back in the. It took us 9 years to get here. I don't know how long it would take us to get there. So, yeah. 9 years of work. That's a lot of work, you guys. Oh, thank you, Emmy. It would be a major undertaking. No, that's not to say that if we, in the future, decided to make Animesh horses, they may be completely separate than the horses we have now and be a completely different project or something like that. But if you heard Tia what he said, none of the animals that we currently have will ever be Animesh. Yeah, that's totally a foreseeable thing, Nora. All right.
As for saying, Animesh is still just mesh, so it has all the fun limitations of that. It just gives it a bone structure that can be moved. So it removes a few of the limitations that you have with mesh, but the biggest ones with the brim counter still exist.
All right, guys. Who else has a question? How was everybody's update experience this time? Did anybody have like everything went perfectly for them? Or did everybody have a nothing went right for them? Smooth. Emmy, we don't do the Amok designs. We don't control Amok. We don't, none of that. So that would be a question to ask at the Amok meeting with those officers. So, yeah, I think that's an awesome idea, though. Only issues I have is sometimes your horses don't get her stats turned back on after dropping her baby. Have you used the GPS to do that?
Generally, I just click the horse back on. It's like I don't know if it's a concern or an issue, or if you're aware this is happening or not. Just making you aware that it's like, because that's how I can tell if, how the horse is doing. And I work so many hours on midnights, and then I come in, check everything real quick, and then I go to bed. Because I also have health issues on top of working, so if I don't get enough sleep, I have problems. But it's just something. It's like that's the only thing I've had an issue with, and I've been very pleased with how everything else has been running smoothly. I can tell you that, and thank you.
Well, thank you, Emmy. You did notice that when you're birthing a bundle, it can take a little longer to birth and get stats. But I love the instant change over to owner. Sure. Yeah, have you guys noticed that there's less duplicated horses? Okay, so some of you guys have noticed. Yeah, we had done a lot of testing before the update to see if we could kind of prevent some of those things.
In a nutshell, the biggest problem with pre-updated horses duplicating, the horse decided to randomly duplicate itself without checking with us. Now the horse checks with us. It still tries to randomly duplicate itself, like everything in Second Life does. It checks with us for permission first.
Nora, eaten pet food will last for 7 days after you put it back on breedable food. So that takes 7 days. 7 days in the stats, it'll go away. Can you implement changes into the food 2TM? What do you mean? Oh, for the
It's,
duplication?
The food is a tiny bit more touchy with that. We have to be careful with that because we found that if we try to lock it down really, really tight, it's counterproductive. It just randomly breaks for no reason. We're constantly looking at it, but in the current version, it's a good balance between protecting itself from the copybotters and the dupers, and the why did my food just duplicate scenario.
So you're saying some of your older horses have been on pet food? No, I would say if you're experiencing that, you should definitely file a ticket because we can tell, things in the horse and see if it's not acting like it should, for sure. Are pre-chewed? Is it pre-chewed tasty? Yeah. Guys, if you ever have a question, you can file a ticket. I don't even care if you think it's a stupid question because I would rather you ask a question and get an answer than you left wondering, hey, is this right or did I do this wrong or what happened here? If you don't want to file a ticket, go over to the main store and click the online board if one of us is online, or go in the group and ask the group. I mean, don't ever wonder.
But there's no such thing as a stupid question. It may not be the smartest question, but it's not a stupid question.
All right, so I think do you guys hear that thunder? Goodness. All right, so I think I answered, I said all the notices that I wanted to share with you guys. Did we get everybody's question answered? No, Lisa, there has not. No problem. Any other questions? I wish. No, what did they say? It's going to be an Arya spinoff, right? She's going to go past west of Westeros, right? Is that what it is?
Prequel.
Yeah, any hints on the newest clothes? I have nothing to say about those at this time, Emmy.
Apparently, the Game of Thrones people, they're working a prequel series about Robert's Rebellion. It's like, ooh, that's gotta be better than the last 2 episodes.
Alright guys, well I'm going to let you get out of here. I'm going to go hide in the bathtub because they said something about a tornado. So everybody have a good day. Thanks for coming out and I appreciate it. And I have one other big announcement. We're going to change the monthly meeting. We usually do it the last Wednesday of the month. We're going to change it to the last Thursday of the month. We're just trying to find the best time to get the most people down here. So we'll see. So everybody have a great day. And I will see you guys a little bit later.
Maybe you ought to have 2 meetings, one in